So, what I want to talk about is faith without works. Faith without works, you know what I mean? And what this coincides with is the square that will remain between Jupiter and Cancer, as well as Neptune and Saturn, okay, until the fall. We're going to have that square. That energy is going to be asking you to compromise, to negotiate, and to settle the differences and crises of two different directions of demand upon you that's taking place. Now, this Jupiter conjunct the Sun at Cancer, it's an optimism that has us to be very cautious as we're awakening to an enthusiasm, a zeal, excitement even, about nurturing the identity that we're finally making our minds up about, the authentic person, after we've cleared space, made space for that. The square to this with the Neptune and Saturn is saying that in pair, okay, Neptune and Saturn, your vision, your ideal, what you can see, what you hope for, what you're praying for, it's true to your identity because it's at Aries. It's also relying solely on your initiative, Aries, the initiative that you're willing to take, the risk that you're willing to take. And the initiatives that you're going to have to take to pull in this vision is going to require assertiveness, boldness, creativity. Now, when I say creativity, it's like the magician card. You have everything at your disposal. Okay? That magician card is the Pisces Aries axis in a sense. Well, cusp in a sense. And that Pisces has the culmination of all signs and energies. From that, you initiate the manifestation of those ideals, those impulses, those energies, those frequencies. That's where you initiate. And you see it at Taurus. You see it at Taurus. So, you're going to have to step into the mindset of a creator behind that. When you're a creator, you can get ideas from other things and people, inspiration, draw inspiration. But when you're creating something, it's different than making something. When you make something, there's already a prototype. There's already a model. There may not be a prototype or a model to the reality that you see you have to create for yourself. So you have to originate it. Originate. That takes courage. You really have to believe in yourself to be able to do that. You have to be certain, without any doubt, about your identity to be able to do that. Saturn is there making everything realistic so that there's no reason to doubt. Because once you allow Saturn to clear out the gas, the extra, the delusion, you have a grounded, realistic ideal that is truly attainable. You have a step-by-step approach, strategy, that's practical, logical, reasonable, and it simply takes commitment. It takes an upgrade in your character, determination, perseverance, and it's yours. It will manifest. Your astral body is already reading what this reality will be through Venus at Taurus. It's already reading it. So you are connected to it. What I'm emphasizing here is that let's get clear about what character Saturn, 10th house, Capricorn, what character is this going to take? Pholus is passing through Capricorn, shaking up what used to be the winning character of the old world. You have to innovate the character of the old world to meet your vision. Who are you supposed to be outside of Rothschild Rockefeller's ideal? Who are you supposed to be outside of what feminists and liberals have approved of your behavior, how you show up, how you dress, how you talk, how you think, how you walk? Who are you outside of corporate manufactured thinking, the status quo? Who are you outside of pop culture and all these other, everything that has influenced who you are? It's time now to originate the world all over again. And it starts in your imagination. Now, you want to look at your 10th house. And you need to have the understanding of your 10th house, because there are the characteristics that people need to know you by. Those are the traits that's going to give you access. Those are the qualities and characteristics that's going to give you notoriety, specifically through the midheaven. That is your point of notoriety. That's going to get you access through and through. You have to put on the characteristics and traits of the sign, the planetary impulses and aspects to your 10th house. As it relates to Capricorn, that is the place in your life where you have to make routine infrastructure and you cannot stray. You must not stray about that particular theme in your life. Wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, you must show obedience. You must show obedience to the rules, the laws that governs that particular house. You have to be accountable in that particular house. There are no excuses in that house. Everything is within your power and control in that house. And you have to treat it that way. The 10th house, you need to study it. What is the breakdown of the energy impulsor sign at your 10th house? That lets you know what Saturn is expecting you to manifest that Neptune ideal of your identity through. Understand, the personality is what accommodates the character. Personality and character are two different things. Character is your destiny. Understand. Personality is more so of your influence. It's the influence that you bring. It's the energy that you transfer to others. It's the frequency that you benefit others with. It could include charisma. It could include darkness. It can include light, water, earth, fire, air. Whatever sign or impulses that you have at your first house, that is the personality trait that you must understand, and you need to understand it deeply so that we can be effective and successful. We have it all written out for us. We just have to focus on our specific instructions for our life. What does your first house say about the personality that allows you to win? The personality that makes you successful every time? What does it say about your biochemical disposition, your anatomy, and what you should respect about it? Understand. For example, Sagittarius first house. You should be fit and athletic at all times, because without fitness, athleticism, good health and physical condition, you are at a fraction of the influence that you're supposed to be bringing. Leo rising, for example, you should look like a dramatic leader who stands there as the restoration of the confidence of those around them, symbolizing the strength card. The strength card, bringing the warmth of the sun into every situation, not burning people with the sun in every situation. That's just a few examples. So we really need to understand ourselves to know how all this comes together. Neptune, ruler of Pisces. Pisces is where you extract everything that you create in your entire chart. It extracts from that point. So wherever you have Pisces, that's where you draw essence from. In other words, in that particular area of your life, you are required to have faith to work that point. You also have to have a sense of unity. You also have to see through the eye of God, or see God through the eye of the prism, which means white light is one, the singularity. But white light bends to bear all frequencies of light, but yet it is still a singularity. Okay? So you see differences in people and differences in things, but you have to be able to dissolve the form of things to see what is the essence behind matters. That's what helps us to stay centered and focused from the point of Pisces. The point of Pisces is also where we want to be very careful not to fall into addictions, not to fall into carelessness, not to fall into irresponsibility, not to make the mistake of lacking boundaries with yourself or boundaries with others, having limitations, indulgence. That's also where you want to avoid over pacifying addictive behaviors. Understand? So there's so much to understand through your chart and how to show up for this. The sun conjuncting Jupiter, your sun placement now has expansion. So the theme of the house where your natal sun is at, expansion is going to take place there. And with expansion taking place there, you're going to take much more confidence about the story that you're here to unfold and the meaning that goes with it. You're also here to look at that story with more optimism and creativity, enthusiasm. However, we're simply delusional if we're not bringing the character and the personality that's true to who we are, not a manufactured idea of what society has given you permission to be. Understand, that's the difference. Now, what I also would like to mention is that your natal birth chart readings are critical to really understanding these things. You want to study your chart because in that you're studying yourself. And you have to be consistent with doing so. Remain curious. Remain curious about who you possibly could be. This is a great time where we're stepping into freedom. freedom. And it's not like any other time that we've had. Look back at all that you suffered, all that you experienced, all that you've gone through. And I need you to see that as the most valuable possession that you have. What you have overcome, what you have survived, what you have endured, what you have come to understand, what pain and what disappointment and what suffering has made of you. That is the most valuable possession that you have. It's time to see value in a higher way. It's also time to see that it's choices that we have, it's decisions that we make, and how we show up, and the results that we're getting. And we no longer have anyone to blame. We just have ourselves to manage, to keep in an encouraged place, to keep our hearts filled with faith, and to stay grounded with a connected outlook and what strategies are going to be most effective for us by being realistic. Understand. But let's be as productive as we can through study of our natal astrological birth chart. Follow your own formula. Don't follow anybody's formula except your formula. Your 10th house manifests through balancing out your 4th house needs. See, every house is a polarity, and you have to negotiate between each house to get a good outcome. Your 10th house has to be negotiated with the 4th house. Understand? And I'm saying this because I'm talking about character. The 10th house, character, is what gives you capacity for the responsibilities and the duties that makes your destiny a reality. Because responsibilities and duties comes with every level of your destiny. As you ascend in your destiny, there's greater responsibility, greater duty. Fulfillment rests upon responsibility and duty. That is what fulfillment rests upon. Being qualified for greater responsibility, getting qualified to fulfill greater duty. That is the only way we get to experience greater fulfillment. But you have to nurture that process. Because remember, the 10th house is to climb and scale the mountain as an ibex. It is dangerous. It is risky. Because there is opposition, there is resistance, there is bad weather coming against you, the person. And everything is out to assassinate your character, take you down, take you out, take your crown, take your head. So, self is the most important study you will ever do.